All right, here we go. Let's see. Can this be heard? It looks good to me. There we go. Okay, let's see where we're at with this. I've been working on my 3D modeling stuff, trying to get things going in a... Ooh, that's weird screen flicker going on there. Strange. I've been trying to build out a few things. So the first thing I've been trying to work on is cleaning up the Forge library namespace structure a little bit. Hey, how's it going there, Mike? Hope you're well today. Good to see ya. Let's see. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's raining outside, so I didn't get the exercise I wanted in, but that's okay. I'll just do it after and throw my clothes in the dryer. Other than that, things are going really well on my end. I recently got my first dose vaccination, so feeling happy about that. Otherwise, it's been pretty normal. Just been trying to think about my 3D code work a little bit again. I've been focusing a lot lately on the SVG library, which is nice, and actually turning out to be a critical part of my 3D stuff. But I want to not lose sight of doing 3D modeling stuff too. So that's where I'm at today. Nice. Get ready for stage 2. Seems to hit younger folks pretty hard and is no fun. Oh man, that's a bummer. Yeah, so the first dose, all I really have is it feels like a bit of muscle pain where they hit me, but other than that, it's just kind of like an internal bruise sort of thing. Other than that, I feel fine. So I guess I didn't hear that. I didn't realize that the second dose had a different kind of impact. But you know what? I'll take a little bit of a few days of no fun for the sake of immunity and all that good stuff. So you know what? I think I'll be able to pull through just fine. As for, did I ask Mike how you were doing, by the way? I hope you're doing well. If I didn't ask, and if I did ask, I'm sorry for missing missing that. I'm going to assume that work has been a little bit busy, but you're otherwise doing okay. Fingers crossed. That's the hope. No pressure, of course. No pressure. All right, so this Forge library, I was mucking about trying to structure the namespaces in a way that makes a bit of sense. What I have not done is reload those since the changes, so there are going to be breaks, and I'm just going to kind of I'm just going to try and sort of fix it up one bit at a time. So it's going to be a bit tedious. Well, it shouldn't be too bad, actually, if I think about it. It should be okay. It's always different for everyone, but all the people I know, 30 and younger, have a rough 24 hours after the second dose. Okay. Well, I'll be prepared for it. You're doing well. Work is a lot of fires as of late. Yeah, you caught up. Back to the normal grind. Oh, boy. Are they like fires in production kind of thing? Like you got to scramble to help the customer? Because those are stress-inducing kinds of problems in my experience. So I feel for you. Let's see here. What should be the first namespace to kind of load up and check that it works? Probably the utils folder makes sense to me. And what I'd actually like to do is check whether or not I even need all of these built into it. That's the thing. It's been a while since I've really visited this project. Almost certainly there's a lot of stuff that can be deleted or completely changed up. Because my thinking about this is, I hope, starting to come to a head where I can make better direct progress. Anyway, let's see what happens when I do this. Load file, source, forge, utils.cljc. That actually loaded right away. I'm very surprised that that has no issues, but that's a really good sign. Let me just kind of remove the requirements here one at a time and see. Am I doing this correctly? Let's just see what's up here. Some problems in production. Those are definitely the most stressful ones, but you've got a small team, so bugs found during testing get funneled towards me. I'm one of the 2 backend and legacy app devs. You've just been getting slammed. Being busy is nice for getting through the day, but it is exhausting. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like if you have a to-do list of bugs in testing to fix, and you know that they're gonna kind of, if you can say do arbitrarily 5-ish in 8 hours in a workday, and you know that they're being replaced at a similar rate, you can come in every day knowing with high certainty that you'll be quite productive, and know that the next day you will also be required in some sense and capable of being that productive, right? Like the work just keeps getting put on. So it's nice in the sense that you sit down, you know exactly what needs to be done for the day, and you know that you can go the whole day without running out of things to do. But yeah, totally, that gets tiring. It's like anytime I had a labor job, it was always that way. You knew, especially during busy seasons, you knew you come in at 7:30 and you're going to work, and the orders won't be done by the end of the day. And that means the next day you come in and you work. And you can weirdly turn off part of your brain, right? You don't have to think about what to do next. You just have to be ready to do what will be next on the line. But yeah, you can't really sustain that kind of work forever. So hopefully there's a little bit of a respite for you until the next bout of bug fixes. There's always bugs, and there's always more to fix, right? Okay, so restarted that. Let's load this and see if something goes wrong. Looks like it's okay. And this is honestly me being a little bit lazy, just trying to see what breaks, you know? So this whole comparing floats thing, I do for sure need to revisit that. But I'm not going to do that today because float comparison is a huge pain in the butt, and I don't want to. Let's have a peek here. Yeah, fingers crossed. I think you'll have a break at least for the rest of the week, though. So you can work at a less expedited pace. Nice. Yeah, that's good. You know, a period of high output and then a period of relaxing that a little bit kind of works better for the human brain, you know? We can't be on all the time. Even though sometimes, at least I wish I could, it's not always going to happen. It's just not going to be there all the time. Okay, so I honestly don't even know of these functions which ones I use anymore. So I'll have to kind of figure that stuff out as I go. Oh well. I will not worry about it too much. I also realize this whole 3-point algorithms thing kind of I kind of think I should just reduce the categorization here. By that I mean, if I do this, pop these all into the same, it makes no difference on the actual source code side. They all get spit out into the same file in the same order. I just don't need to overcomplicate the structure while it can still move around a bit, you know? So there we go. That should be okay. So let's go here, string and same. So the only place I would need same-ish, I tried to, nearly. Yeah, I use them right here, so I do need them. Right? Am I correct about this? Ish and zero-ish. So that's here. And here. No. Anyway, I do need this, and I don't think I actually need stir, but I'm gonna leave it there because I probably will at some point need it. Anyway, no, that's a bad way to design things. I'll just put it in there if I need it later. How about that? Let's just one more load. Okay, that seems to work okay. Oops. Let's load Delane, which I do need to actually update the whole thing and improve it anyway. And it does come from this here, so I have to double check that I even can use it in the library when I do a proper release, but for the time being it's helpful, and it should be fine, at least until I know I either don't need it or can replace it with my own implementation. That seems okay. All right, here I do expect things to go wrong. So let's see if I'm right about that. Yeah. So here, what I had before, I had all of these functions messed up, like just in a really messy, big proto namespace. Excuse me. And I eliminated the proto to try and structure up a little bit. And so basically there's going to be a bunch of these situations here where I have to just replace it with util/distance because that's where it should be, I believe. I think that's right. I think I know what I'm talking about. Search forward. See, just like this, utils/distance. That should do the trick. There's going to be a bunch of those situations, so let me actually do something like this. Let's do query replace distance with utils/distance. Oops, pressed the wrong button. There we go. This one's already done. All right, let's see what happened there. Let's see what helped. Okay, so now I do the same thing with average. Pretty straightforward, really. Just a little bit boring, you know, but just say it with enough confidence that people will believe you even if you aren't right. That's how I get by. Baffle everyone with confidence, right? That's the rule. My goodness. Query replace. Replace average with utils slash average. Huh, there's only one. Well, that was easy. A lot of things to improve here. A lot of things. It actually feels good to kind of start going through this. I've been meaning to do stuff like this for a while. Nearly utils slash nearly. A lot of work to do, clearly. Oops. Oh, I got... Well, let's get rid of that. Undo. What did I just do? All right, let's now try this again. Oh, well, that's not good enough. That's not helpful. I hope I didn't accidentally replace an all nearly earlier. Oh well, we'll find out soon enough. That's also, well, let's see here. Determinant 2D, perfect. Query replace 2D, replace it with utils slash determinant 2D. Looks good. Online. One day I'll like get a language server set up properly with my literate programming stuff so that these sorts of operations go a little bit quicker. But until such time, this is relaxing. It's not difficult. Just want to, it helps me think about the library in general as I do it, you know. I kind of notice things that are unnecessary or poorly designed. Maybe I'm just justifying bad behavior. Who knows? All right. I'm looking for online. I want to replace it with utils online. Oops. Again, I did the same thing. Fat fingering things a lot today. Typos all over the place. There we go. There we go, that's okay. Add Z. Ooh, okay, see this is an example of this pattern of drop Z, add Z stuff was something that last time I was really trying to use this, it was super frustrating. I don't want to have to think about passing 2D line or 2D points into 3D functions and vice versa. I want everything to be properly handled already, or have errors extremely clearly indicating that this function only expects 2D points. This function only expects 3D. So I need to clean that all up so that I never need to be using add Z, drop Z. Maybe in some internal cases, but never, like the user shouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff is the goal I have here. So seeing that add Z is actually an indicator that I need to remember to kind of clean up the design of the library, like I was saying. Does that make sense? I think that makes some sense. Let's just do, well, let's still do a query replace. Add Z with utils/add Z. Let's just go find, yeah, see here, right? It's not necessarily smart to have all that. I don't know. I'm not convinced that it's a good idea, is really the truth of it. These already have it. Oh, oh, why is that? That shouldn't exist here, or it doesn't need to. Wait a second, where am I? What's happening here? Makes sense. Do you know how other libraries got designed for this kind of stuff? I would venture to guess that there are like 3D math libraries and 2D versions that can be brought in separately just to avoid this exact issue. I suppose you're right. I can actually give a somewhat concrete reason why it's useful to have both 2D and 3D stuff in the same library, and I'll actually show you. Why that might be. Hey, Green Coder, how's it going? I hope you're doing well today. I would like to launch FreeCAD, please. Let's see. Actually, here's a good example. Insomnia, as usual, might not stay long. Sorry to hear about the insomnia there, Green. Hopefully, well, I want to say, I hope my stream puts you to sleep, but that's kind of like, I hope you get some sleep is the truth of it. If my stream helps you get to sleep, that's nice. But yeah, no pressure to stay long, of course. It's nice to see you pop into the chat. I always appreciate that. But yeah, your sleep is more important than my stream, so. Okay. So FreeCAD's, there it is. Let's try to move this over here. Right, so FreeCAD and most 3D packages that I've used have this idea of, oh boy, am I smart enough to do this on the fly? It's been a while. Let's go into the sketcher here. And create a new sketch. XY plane. Okay. I'm just going to draw a circle because those are easy. So in this 3D package, right, I've got, sorry, I don't remember what, no? Can I not? I don't remember how to pan right now. Anyway, close. Right, well, so I've got a 2D object in 3D space, and it's very common to make 3D shapes from 2D sketches by doing if I go into, say, part design here, there should be a function called extrude. Got a little beach ball loading situation going on here, but that's okay. So let's do pad, which is extrude in this case. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's try this. Unfortunately, I don't know what I'm doing. Spinning beach ball is the best beach ball. I'm always really nervous when I see it because you never quite know what's going to happen next. Usually nothing, which is kind of bad. That's not what I wanted. Well, let's try this version of a sketch. This time we'll do this because that's also easy. Let's close that. Okay, here we go. So this should work with the pad function I was trying to run before. Let's actually just delete this one. This sketch should work if I now try to do... Okay, here, this is the point I was trying to make. This is a 3D object, right? But it is built up from the existence of a two-dimensional sketch. So you need to be able to kind of track and have a mechanism where 2D and 3D stuff can kind of live together. So you also have this thing where, so the 2D version, let's say you describe a 2D rectangle, right? You can specify, if you assume the default plane to be XY, then any 2D object you can just say by design it will land up automatically on the XY plane, no problems. But for the sake of being able to manipulate your model and create more advanced solids, you will certainly want to be able to at some point specify transformations on 2D sketches such that they're on, maybe they rotate 90 about the Y, so they're on a different plane, or maybe you move them arbitrarily in space so that they're useful for annotations, or they're useful for extrusions on non-XYZ axes on arbitrary in arbitrary directions. Point being, you can specify a rectangle with two-dimensional points, but as soon as you do a 3D transformation on it, the points might land up in a 3D position. So you need to be able to either coerce, quote unquote, 2D points into 3D, or have really clear ways in which 2D shapes are upgraded into 3D or something along those lines. Point is, there's very clearly situations where you want to be able to use 2D and 3D objects in the same space, right? So, but you see how it was fairly easy to make this sketch, right? It's clearly in a 3D context, but when you go double click it to edit, it puts you into a 2D view and locks one axis from edits. So, you know, I kind of want that sort of workflow, if that makes any sense. Anyway, point is, 2D, 3D, you need them both to make 3D objects in a way that is sort of industry standard. I hope that makes some sense. Right, so the idea here is, right, if you change the sketch that a thing is based on, you see how the 3D shape itself is updated, so it's really thin now. But if I stretch this like this, it recalculates the shape of the 3D object here. So the 3D result is completely backed by the position of these 2D points plus the extrusion vector that's implied with the pad distance here. So I could change this number and I get a taller or shorter. Please? See that? There you go. Right, and then, so if it's backed by those things, then you can transform a 3D object in 3D space. You still need to know where the 2D versions of everything are kind of ending up. Anyway, that's a long way to justify needing both 2D and 3D in the same context. I think that makes some sense. Right, where was I? Trying to clean up a little bit of the library here. Save those changes, load the file. Yes, these utils, these little vector things, extremely common. I use them all over the place. Let's close this off and assume that that'll be fine later. Would be curious to see how they handle that kind of stuff in a well-established software, whether they do a conversion or just straight up include a Z value of 0 by default for 2D views. My guess is that they have a few different internal representations of things. So this is my guess because it's crossed my mind as well, is they do have effectively an object that is purely two-dimensional. So call it a sketch object. And it can contain any set of 2D things plus handle the transforms in 2 dimensions and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to assume that they have an internal representation that takes the primitives, so the geometric and topological data implied by a sketch, and converts it, quote unquote, into a 3D representation under the like internally, and keeps some kind of reference between the two. I don't know for sure though, and it's hard to say without access to some of those closed source things. It actually, now that you bring these questions up, I should maybe start looking at the source code for FreeCAD to see how it's done there, because I mean that could be pretty interesting. Or, you know, maybe I could poke around in the good old Python console here and just kind of see what properties and methods are available on a sketch object in comparison to a 3D object. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I still want to just get some of the basic features and workflow fixed up for this, because that's kind of important here. The funny or the interesting thing is, as I built up my SVG library, I got a clearer understanding of how I actually used shapes and their transforms. And I'm kind of using the structure I came up with for the SVG library as an analog for how I want to set up this 3D library, with some additional features to make the 3D more so that I can target more than just SVG or more than just OpenSCAD. So I have to add a little bit of generalization into those things. Anyway, I am talking more than I'm fixing, so let's try to get the ball rolling again. How about that? So here, now we've got a few of these situations. I'm probably gonna search forward. Right. Where was what am I doing? I'm losing the plot already. Yeah, this is not going to be a fruitful search. Let's add just a little more specificity to that. Search v minus utils slash. There we go. That'll be a little more helpful, huh? So at this point, I'm not checking if these functions are actually still useful or if they actually work. I'm just checking that every namespace I've built out here loads properly. So anything missing, missing their namespace declaration like this, I'm just trying to fix that. And then from there, I'll figure out more and more and just build out the proper structure as I go. That is the idea. Offset. Here's one, utils slash. Oop. I'm sure I missed some. 2 degrees. Yes, okay, good. We're getting closer, I hope, to sorting this namespace out. Oops. Yeah, thanks for that. Utils slash this and that. Okay. Oops. Let's see. Getting closer, I hope. Right. Search forward for perpendicular. Oh, it's right there. Neat. So the one thing I have uncertainty about is this split. I have this namespace called geometry, forge.geom, where I calculate stuff related to geometry. The thing I'm a little nervous about is there is some geometry calculation stuff in the utils folder too. So this seems like a potentially unhelpful distinction, but I'm going to leave it there for now because it might become clearer what has to go in what. But I'll see as things go. Search forward, normalize. So close, right? See, like if there's a function that has basically everything about it calling into the utils thing, it makes me wonder if that makes more sense to also be in the utils namespace, right? That's what's prompting me to think these questions. but it's not totally clear that that's helpful at this point. Geometry is loading now, so that's a good sign. Let's see. Let's do Delane. I think I did that already. I can't remember now. Delane. Yeah, that's good. I did do that anyway. So we've got these three working. Let's do a little sneaky divider here to indicate what's good and what's not. Might also be worth collecting all of those functions into a single function in utils to be called. Maybe sometimes. I don't think in every case that that's a smart idea. So for example, right, like how I would quote unquote, like you say, collect those functions into a single function. I would, so this offset edge, for example, in my view, since basically every other function it's using is in the utils thing, the way in which I would collect those functions into a single function is literally this function, and I would just save that in the utils instead. Does that make sense? I think so. But these here, like cycle pairs, every other, I think what I'm actually observing here is a little bit of a little bit of unclear thinking about where to delineate and put certain functions. And I can fix that up as I go. Actually, that can be very useful. So for right now, I'm hesitant to, you know, do the thing I love to do and delete code. But it's in my mind to figure out what should change. Like this Delany thing, I might not even need the Delany triangulation at all. Who knows? I don't know yet. The nice thing is it's a really separate namespace. It has no dependencies on anything else in the library. It just uses Clojure set. And it exposes its own triangulation function, nice and easy. Like, it's a very well isolated namespace. And that's kind of what I want with most other things except utils and geometry, which could easily be used in a lot of different contexts. But I digress. Let's now have a look at frep, which will certainly have a bunch of errors in it. So let's go ahead and do that. Forge frep clamp. Yes, yes. I'm ready to go. This voxel grid proto thing probably can just be deleted outright if I'm being honest about it. Let's delete it. There we go. There's still some occasion to delete. Oop, I don't want to save that. I want to save this. Okay, so is min built in? Yes, it is. I'm gonna go to the washroom for a minute. I will be right back. I won't be long. All right, let's see. Mike, gotta run to your meeting. Keep the stream open and hang around. Won't be able to hear anything for about an hour or so. Okay, no worries. No problem. Good luck at your meeting. I hope it goes well. Slash doesn't give you give you nightmares about bugs to fix and all that stuff. Okay, right, so let's keep poking around at this, see what's up. The error I got was clamp, so let's query replace clamp with utils slash clamp. That was easy. Let's try again. What else is going to go wrong? Dot product, query replace dot star with utils slash dot star. Not sure if that's the best name for that function, but hey, it's fine enough. Seems good. frep triangle. Now we're getting into yes. Search forward, search for frep triangle. Here, it's actually just called triangle in the context of the frep namespace. I've got, oh, I do have to define triangle before that, like this. See here, sign in this context. Let's do a query replace on that one. Sign replace with utils slash sign. That looks like that'll be it. Clip ears. Where is clip ears? That one. Ooh. Search forward. Defen clip ears. That's in geom. Okay. So we go here, yeah. Search for where clip ears ends up being used. It's just in polygon, so we do geom slash clip ears. Oh, there's another spot. Search. Oh, it's right here. Square. Utils slash square. Easy enough. Oh, gotta do this. Rotate point. Utils, I think. let's see. Whoa, no way. Huh. It worked. Let's do forge.utils/rotate. Just to check here. Yeah, so rotate point is in there. So that's good. That's what I was assuming. So that's good. Right, so it looks like we've got success with all of the above the line here. And now brep, there's going to be a bunch of issues as well, and we can just fix them right up. The classic query replace. Replace v plus with utils/v plus. How about that, huh? Yep. Ooh. Pump those brakes for just a second. I made a mistake. One level up, or one replacement before this. So I'm gonna have f/utils. Oh, that's not at all what I want. Let's do mx search forward for f/utils/. That's wrong. Okay, this is gonna cause issues later, but I'll get to that later on. I've got other problems. Got other things going on. Right, so let's keep fixing up the brep. And we do that with another query replace. Let's do v star. Replace it with utils/v star. That one's good. So we've hit the images export area, or import area, I mean, so we're past brep, which is good. I could actually make this slightly easier on myself by doing this. If I pop brep down to the bottom and don't do any query replaces above this, then it's guaranteed to only affect the brep, which is actually probably a smart approach here. So let's give that a shot. Let's give it a try. mx query replace v minus with utils/v minus. And it's literally the one. Okay, that's nice and easy. brep line. That would be surely just past this, right? Polyline here. Apply line, not brep line. I bet there's still more. Normalize. Let's go up here. mx query replace. Normalize with utils/normalize 2. Now we're cooking. Normal, same thing. With utils/normal. Oh! This is just wrong. Radius from points. Is that forge.utils/? Yeah, okay. Bosh. Radius from points. promising. I could maybe kind of just step through this logically one little bit at a time, right? Remap within is inside here, for example. That's okay. Here we go, utils slash, then this is just a normal line. This is just curve arc, which is right up here, which has a few changes too. Looks good. Oh, and this curve straight sweep, I deleted that because it wasn't working anyway, so let's just get rid of this one entirely. See what else errors out now. brep polyline. Huh. Well, let's just search it. Polyline. Oh, that makes sense. Does it? Wait. Regular polygon points is in utils, right? Forge.utils slash regular. Yeah. So this should be deleted from here. Surface union. Did I delete it? I think I might have. Oof. That's okay. I don't actually think this is done anyway. Right. So brep line. Rotate point. Yeah, that's good. Let's go here. MX query replace rotate point with util/rotate point. Only the one. All right, we're getting closer to having this at least work, kind of. Yes, okay, now we're cooking. We're getting there. All right. Let's see, what's next? Well, of course we continue on fixing up the namespaces, getting everything loading properly, making sure we have an OpenSCAD exporter as sort of a basis, and then build out from there. I think that's a reasonable approach, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, now load the model. This shouldn't be too hard. Just should have a few things in it that don't work. Of course, the namespace is going to be wrong. Forge Proto is not a thing anymore, so we've got to do Forge utils as utils. Then Forge dot geom as geometry. This Clojure walk thing, I'm pretty sure I don't need it, so let's get rid of it. Alright, well, let's see what happens now. No such namespace F. Yep. Let's do this. Yep. MX query replace F slash with utils slash. Seems to make sense. Oh, wow. Okay, so that worked pretty quickly. That's good. I love it when that happens. A lot of things to implement, but that's totally perfect. Fig, Forge internal geometry is where I want to start focusing some ideas, but we'll get there later. Let's pop this back up here. All right, now we have importers. Which, actually, now that I think about it, don't work anyway. They're not implemented yet, so NBD, as it were. This is all just SVG import stuff. And SCAD drawing. This should be renamed. This needs work. Yeah. The whole idea of this thing, though, is actually just to get traceable images turned into a set of point and path data that can then be used in the rest of all this. So it's not really anything yet. I wonder if I should even take it away from... Well, let's do this. No, not integrated at all yet. This is just copy pasted from a SCAD drawing project. The intent here is to have a tool that takes a PNG file name and gives a set of points paths which can be used as the basis for sketch elements and used in Forge internal, used in Forge models, as if native functions had created the points paths. Yeah, that's maybe that's a silly way to say it. Let's do SVG here, and we'll say not implemented yet. Implemented yet. The idea here is to have SVG strings and or SVG hookup data from the SVG C of A library. Convert directly into usable 2D objects for further use in Forge code. Think of the SVG think of SVG elements as equivalent to Forge 2D elements. That's kind of a key. I want the SVG library to be one-to-one usable and extendable by this sort of thing. So for example, if I make an SVG object, it's a bunch of 2D shapes, I want to be able to take that exact code, put it in this library, and have it be renderable in a 3D context, transformable in a 3D context, extrudable, all that kind of stuff. So basically any sketch element I want to be equivalent to SVG stuff. So I need to be able to convert to and from SVG stuff easily. So this SVG importer is for that exact kind of thing. Coming soon. The idea here is to have a .scad parser that emits a Forge model tree structure. Thus, any SCAD file can be imported, modified, and exported as SCAD or any other model format. Oops. Right, so I didn't check that any of these worked because they're not done yet. Right, compilers. This here, the SCAD compiler, is the next thing to fix up. Let's not worry about importers for right now. It won't really matter anyway, right? Yeah. Arguably these things will be swapped out for other things. I'll figure that out later. I'll focus on this one later. Compilers, SCAD. This is what I want to focus on next. Save this. Alright, here we are. Now I need to load file source forge compile scat.cljc. Let's see what goes wrong here. No proto. Of course, utils as utils, and let's not refer these. I'll fix them like this instead. That's a little cleaner, kind of. All right, let's fix these problems. Query replace 2 degrees has to be replaced with utils / 2 degrees. Oh, wrong. This is wrong. Compile SVG. Good to know. All right, next. Oh, well, it just worked. Perfect. Now compile SVG. No such namespace F. Of course not. Almost. Okay, let's see. Yes. All right, basically, things are working now. I mean, working in the sense that they're compiling. Forge model as model, forge utils as utils, SCAD and SVG. Yes, we're getting somewhere with this. Only thing here is proto has to be replaced with utils. Yeah. Okay. Right? Seems promising. Promising. Oh, I have to save this. Oh, and this doesn't get loaded, or doesn't get saved. It's not tangled into a file anywhere, which is totally fine. Don't need it to be, and it all loads, so that's good. So if I were to do, oh, by the way, oops, got a little thing to fix up here. This is gone now. So I want write SCAD to actually just be called write. Or compile. Maybe compile isn't the right word, but it sounds cool. So I'll leave it at that for the time being. So we'll do compile. And here we call it compile, like that. Yes, indeed. I do say. Okay, so compilers, we've got, oh, there is one more thing I want to do here. So we've got show Okay. So we've got SCAD. Okay. So if I do cider show SCAD compile, is that gonna work? Oh, I have to reload. Do I have to reload this namespace? What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Ah, that would be why. Clojure core compile already exists. That's not surprising. We'll call it right. That's fine. It's not as glamorous, but it's fine. Just don't want to shadow the core namespace stuff, you know? That's not really necessary. Compile, we'll call this right. And now we load both of those. Then we fix up this snippet here. Hey, there we go. Kind of. We're getting somewhere. Ooh. Except we've got a little bit of mistake happening there. Let me spit to forge.scad scad/right plate. It's close, but wrong. See this? There's something going wrong with that. That should be a fillet. So it works here. So there's something wrong, I think, with the translation or the rotation. Well. Okay. All right. What could be the problem? Let's have a little look-see here. Oops. Oh boy. That's more than I care to look at right now, to be completely honest. This is also not gonna work, right? SVG/cider show plate. I expect this to fail. Oh. Well, yeah, okay. SVG clj.tools. That's perfectly okay. Gotta think. Well, I think I should probably get to the bottom of this issue here. Hmm. What's a quick way to kind of test this out, actually? I think if I do something like this, model/cylinder, radius of 20, height of 100, yeah. If I thread that through model rotate, and I want to rotate it 0.45, 0. Somewhere in here. Sorry, I'm thinking about this a little bit wrong. Let's give it a def for a minute. And we've got SCAD right A has the rotate on there, 45 degrees, which is correct, right? I think. Oh yeah, so I've got this issue here. Well, issue. These should not be converted to radians anymore. And this is a decision I'm not sure I want to keep. Like, I don't know what is better, to have the default be radians or have it be degrees. I don't know. Either one is technically fine, or maybe I should have it be a global dynamic binding or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure what's better. But if I do this now, I suspect that this will be correct. This, I'm going to get rid of that because it doesn't work yet. That looks much more correct to me now. There we go. Yep, that's exactly it. Okay, we're on the right track. We've got the SVG thing working, or pardon me, we've got the SCAD thing working. At least it appears to be working. So now I can get into the weeds a little bit with regards to the SVG stuff. And what do I mean by this? I mean, well, so far I've got, if I def B as thread model/circle 20 through model/rotate 0.45, 20. And now I do let's do guess. Kind of. Strange. I think ooh, there's something going wrong here. If I do if I do this, okay. So there's something going on with the rotation. Of course there is. Of course there is. This isn't working. Well, if I scad/write A. Sorry, I meant svg/write A. They are 2D points, so that's a step in the right direction. Actually, quick sanity check. Okay. Things are not quite, things don't totally make sense. Well, that's interesting. Let's do 45. We'll use this as the canonical view. So this is SVG. It's exactly wrong. Which is okay because, well, I mean, it's not exactly okay, but this is coming into kind of the crux of what I need to figure out. And that is exactly how I want the structure of this whole thing to be. So I have this sort of idea where the model kind of has two phases to it. So the model is two concepts. One, the call tree, the model tree, I'll call it the tree, uses pickup style structures, tag, props, content, uses hiccup style structures, has follows similarly to what SVG CLJ does with its structure. What's a SVG CLJ? Well, okay, let's do a simple little example here. SVG CLJ dot elements slash rectangle 1020. Okay, so can translate it 1020, and I can SVG transform / rotate it. I can also rotate this rectangle. Ooh, I want to rotate it 45 degrees. And then, good enough for now. That sets up, right, so what happens is you get a rectangle and you perform these transforms on it, and you don't see the like it's not, it bakes the transforms in directly. Now the little trick here is kind of, if I were to do the same thing with model, I can use a rectangle, and I can do model translate, and I can even do model rotate, but it just has a slightly different form, like this. Oop. Translate null. Oh, I need it to be 3D, of course. Right, so what's different here is, well, this is a whole big mess, but the main point is it, instead of returning just a rectangle element with its properties manipulated, it returns a rotate tagged nested structure. So it keeps you see the full thing. You don't lose any information, but it doesn't calculate anything. It just wraps your original object in a rotation. So the idea here is the tree structure can preserve exactly what happened as the user was transforming a thing. It shows all the nested transformation, but I need, in some cases, the ability to collapse all the transforms and other operations into a single object, which can then be rendered via something else. However, there are circumstances where I don't want to collapse it. I want to walk the tree and compile it into something else. So the perfect what am I getting at here? So the SCAD thing, it does it this second way. It just looks at the tree directly and runs, it has a multi-method write expression, and when given something like a transform here, it just wraps, like it just compiles it into the string, because the target, OpenSCAD, has its own native translate function that will do everything. The way I've designed my SVG library, you can't one-to-one map 3D translations onto 2D SVG translations. It doesn't really make sense. So I think what I need is this sort of hybrid model where I've got the tree and then I've got a direct model. So let's finish out that little note here. Except it does not bake transforms into the but rather wraps them in the relevant tagged vector. Yeah. I think that makes sense. So. The next thing is the tree. and the geometry. The tree, let's just call it the map, uses a map structure. Single to represent everything about a single all transforms and combinations are baked into the map, so you have no history, but you do have the have all the necessary parts to fully describe the current state of the 3D of the model. This is kind of confusing. The tree and the map. So, right. So you can always create a map from a tree, but you cannot guarantee that you can get the same tree from a map. It is one way and destructive. This is why you want to save both representations. It may be necessary, it may be useful for some compile targets to have the ability to use both a tree and map approach. For example, turning subsections of a tree during traversal into a map representation to quickly get needed geometric data. Right, does any of this make sense? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Boy, oh boy. It gets a little confusing. The map should have a brep structure, frep structure, collection of vertices, edges, faces, shells, solids, frep structure, single function, taking x, y, z, returning distance to surface of the whole object. I think that makes sense. I mean, it kind of makes sense, a little bit, sort of, maybe. Let's go look at the model a little bit again. So So I basically, the model itself consists of 2D things, 2D primitives, 3D primitives, Boolean operations on those primitives, and transforms on those primitives as well. Then the idea is you've got this fig, which is Forge internal geometry, which is built up from any given tree, any given Forge model tree. You can make a single map containing everything you need to be able to render the thing. I suppose that makes some sense. So the Forge internal geometry I just ended up repeating myself here. Right. The Fig Direct model. Forge internal geometry. Keys. Right, so the keys needed for some final geometry. It's basically going to be a map containing a whole bunch of stuff. It needs, what does it need? Well, for sure, frep, which is just going to be some function, basically. And then brep, which is going to contain a bunch of stuff. Vertices, curves, faces, surfaces, solids, shells, I guess, volumes. Something like that. Is there anything else it needs? The tree. You could store the tree that made the map in the map itself. That way you could theoretically get, you could just save it to an Eden file, load the Eden file, and then just get, then you technically don't lose any data, right? You just have it there. Oh, I don't know if that's the smart thing to do or not. Lots to think about, and I think I'm overthinking it a little bit, to be sure. Uh-oh. Right. Okay. just thinking about how to approach this. Let's okay, let's have a look at this here. So this stuff I think is overkill for the very basic idea of the tree structure. I kind of want it to only contain what it needs, like the most important kind of essence of the shape. So I want to get rid of these things, probably. Maybe a bad idea. No, I think this is good. It keeps the interface, it keeps things a little cleaner, hopefully easier to understand long term. Let's have a little quick look at what if I were to make a new sketch. Let's do that here. Okay. What functions I have available, right? Point, line, arc, circle, conic. Various arc functions. Oh boy. Let's see. B-spline. Periodic B-spline. Polyline. Yeah. Rectangle. Regular polygon. A slot. A fillet. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Trim an edge. Extend an edge. I don't know what that... Oh, never mind. I know what that means. Probably helpful to have that kind of stuff, but we'll get there later. Yeah. So we've got some of the most basics, right? We've got... I can easily make a polygon. I can make a rectangle. I've got line and polyline. I don't have B-spline, and I'm going to leave it alone. I don't have arc, and I'm going to leave that alone. I could add point, though I'm not sure that's helpful right now anyway. I'll add it when I find out I need it, I think. Create a circle in the sketcher. Yeah, so... Excuse me. Oh, getting tired today a little bit. Rectangle, circle, polygon. I don't have line and polyline, so I should add those. I think that makes sense, right? So let's, well, you know what? Then let's do def and point. And we can do x, y. And it'll return point containing x, x, y, y, x, y, z. I don't know that I'll ever use it, but it's here. X, x, y, y, z, z. Oops. Point, line, A, B. line. How do I want to do a line? SVG CLJ dot elements slash line 0011 line x1 y1. Simple enough. Polyline points. This works the same way. If I do this, polyline, it takes a list of points. Yeah. Right, so that can be simple like this, polyline points, polygon, oops, is already here. Yeah. So, okay, we'll leave those kind of that way for now. The thing about some of these, this could get difficult. That's okay. I'll leave it kind of as simple as I can for now. So we'll leave those in the 2D category, right? But there are situations where those are 3D things. So polygon, well, maybe I don't have to, maybe let's not complicate it. Let's just kind of leave it in the 2D group and see what happens as we go. So let's do the same thing here. We'll simplify this down again. Cylinder. Ops, yeah. Yeah, let's simplify this again. So, translate has this whole mess here. Don't need any of that. we want this to be as simple as possible. There it is. That should do the trick. So you pass in a block, which is actually, let's change it to element. Okay. And you just wrap it in a translate, given it the translates arguments basically. Point, line, polyline, rectangle, circle, polygon, project. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, all of these, let's change the name of this so that is correct. It's element. I want to change this later, but I'll leave it for now. Extrude and Revolve, I want it to be way simpler than all of this complexity here. Actually, why don't I make it so? Let's leave that there as a reference. We'll do defin extrude. It's going to take, as arguments, it's going to take element. And so box takes x, y, z. This is going to take the element and the height, h. So that's all. That's the really simple extrude. I could make a new function for, what is that called? I think it's called loft, actually. Let's get rid of this. Delete that. Let's undo this. Let's delete the pad. Yeah, so here, through other profile sections. Oh, that's not quite the same. Maybe pad. No, let's do it this way. So we've got this whole twist thing, right, is let's not worry about that right now. We'll do this. We'll come up with a loft function as well, but we'll get to that later in just a minute. We'll finish this one. So here, extrude has the extrude tag, and then here it's got, in the map itself, H, and then it has LM, like that. Loft could be interesting, actually. How do I want to make loft behave? Let's not worry about it right now. Let's get rid of it. Keep extrude super simple. Likewise, we'll keep revolve super simple, and we'll add features later on. Once I'm sure that this structure for the whole library makes sense, then I can go from there. So, revolve. Yeah, that's a good idea. Save that. I'll be right back. Okay. Extrude and Revolve got fixed into easier things. Boolean, they're fine, I think. Transforms, translate makes sense. Rotate. Let's clean it up again. Get rid of the let there. That seems promising. Yeah. Oop. There. Okay, translate, rotate, group. Suppose that's good. Oh, by the way, I have to be consistent here. We've got element there, we have block here. Let's make it element again. Group is content, which should be elements, LMs. Is okay, we'll go with that. So resize and scale are technically different, but I don't remember what the difference is. Open SCAD, difference between resize and scale. Because I might get rid of one image magic. That's not what I need. Feature request. Hmm. 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 I think I'm gonna tentatively get rid of resize, or I am gonna get rid of resize for now. Leave it simple by doing scale only. Mirrors probably necessary at some point. Color. I think I want to swap color out for something different, like style, maybe. Hull. Offset, super important. Let's simplify this down. Offset radius. Is radius a fair? Let's do D. There. Minkowski. Minkowski actually takes 2 arguments, doesn't it? think it's like this. I think. Element, matrix. That one's easy enough. Okay. Right. So some of this is not going to be right anymore. I think if I, whatever. Whoops. Come on. If I load file, source forge, compile, nope, model. Yeah, and now try to run this. I think that won't work anymore, actually. Indeed. Something that's a little unexpected. Plate A. Yeah, it all works, kinda. This won't work. Yeah, good. Bounds of points. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense because of how I tried to do the SVG stuff. It doesn't make any sense at the moment. So if I take one quick peek at compilers again, though, I have to make sure that I get rid of the things that are not used and add things that are used. Oh, I didn't. So polyhedron, I didn't actually make that function yet. That's a 3D function. Oh, yes, I did. It's right here. Never mind. Forget that. Right, so here, the only key necessary in this whole mess is H. Like this. Yeah, that is closer to correct. Scale. I'm gonna do this. hope that makes some sense. List, indent, depth. I don't need to concat anymore either. I could just do this, list, when center return this string, and then get rid of this list as well. Okay, that ooh, uh-oh. Where did all this stuff come from? Uh-oh. I've messed it up. Oops. Shoot. Oh, it's not done yet. I see. I'm getting lost in things a little bit. So this is here, but up here you have to map cat, write expression, ink depth, blah, on element like that. It should always just be a single element, but I'll map cat it anyway. That should be fine. Yeah. So this is an opening thing, then you put the expression inside it, and then you just close it. With indent depth and this here. Okay, that kind of makes sense, and I think it'll work. Famous last words, of course. And then revolve is actually just keys A now. Element A, element like that. Okay, so yeah. Let's get rid of a bunch of this stuff. So first things first, get rid of the concat, and we'll just build out a list that makes some sense here. Oop. Yeah, we're good so far. Right, string join with that. So for sure, this whole thing, this whole part right here, just becomes string angle equals A, close that, followed by this, followed by map cat, noticing inconsistencies with how this library is built, and I'll change it up. Because this is based off of the SCAD CLJ library, which hasn't really been updated that thoroughly in a while. So I'm looking at this and realizing there might be some better structure I can put up in all of this, but that's fine. Let's be consistent with where we put stuff. How about that? So this, for example, is the same, but I also don't need it in a string like that. Ooh. I could actually just do this, hypothetically. And in fact, this can be one-lined like that. To have the same like that there. I don't need that. I don't have a center equals true thing here. I technically don't for this either, but let's leave that in place for the time being. Yeah, mapcat this whole thing. And then indent depth. I may have broken it a little bit, but maybe not. All right, let's see. Resize is gone because I got rid of it as a choice. Element. Element. Gotta do that here. Offset D. I'm a little worried that I'm slicing and dicing way too much, but I actually think that'll be better overall, as I can add in the stuff I know I need as opposed to just clutter up and not realize that I'm never using stuff that's in the library. Better to have it a little bit small, I think. That should otherwise just work. I'll go through this with a fine-tooth comb at another point. And this is actually gonna be multiple elements, so that is LMs like that. And then mult matrix, keys matrix, LM, that's all good. Okay, let's hope that works for the time being. Boolean stuff. This is elements. Element. Okay, let's go with that for now. And the right, yeah, that should be fine. Cider show. This tools part actually currently only works in Clojure, so I have to do I think that's the syntax. I forget. I think that's right though. And the same for cider show, right? Little messy, but for now that's okay. I can clean it up as needed. I think that's kind of okay. Tools, there we go. Let's do one final check actually that this is making sense. If I go model boolean and yeah, we're good. That's correct. All right, save those changes. The SCAD compiler surely has some missing stuff about it now, but let's actually, here's a good idea. I do want to check here, def A is a circle and then I rotate it. Let's add into the pipeline here model / extrude 20. No, let's extrude it 500, sure. So it's noticeably, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So I broke things. Don't know how to create a sequence from a keyword. Okay, so I've got extrude H is 500, circles, blah, blah, blah. Let's make sure it's not. Let's make sure that rotate's working. Yeah, so rotate's still good. But of course I broke extrude, which is totally fine. I can fix it up. Either I broke it or it actually never did work. Okay, so SCAD compiler. Broke a few things. That's gotta be in Extrude and Revolve, right? Those are the things I modified the most. Delta. Where'd delta go? Oh, it's probably somewhere in here. Delta, yeah. If D, let's get rid of delta. Oh, wait, did it? Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's just get rid of this if. Get rid of this because chamfer's not part of it at the moment. Concat all these things. Let's just clean this up. One final step. Let's put it all into just one list like we did. What happened? I just got lost. All right, list, indent, depth, blah, blah, blah. Get rid of this. Offset equals this. Get rid of this list. Then you write expression ink depth element. Then you end the whole thing off with indent depth and n like this. Okay, let's see. All right, we're in the money, kinda. Now we go back and see if I can make extrude actually work. Whew. I think I should also make a kind of reference solid that has a that uses the primitives plus some 2D stuff that you can extrude and revolve and then does unions and differences so that I can in one shape test all compilers against it. I feel like that makes the most sense to build out. It doesn't have to be a super complex shape because I want to be able to kind of parse it by quickly reading the structure myself, but it has to be indicative of things working, of features working properly. So maybe I'll build out a little something off stream for that kind of thing. I'm gonna get going soon, but I want to kind of finish up this little test idea I've got going on in my brain. So I'm in the scratch namespace as I've been this whole time. So let's just redef A, see if it shows. It does not. So here we go. Don't know how to create iSeek from keyword. So we're back on extrude being a bit of a problem, I would imagine. Yeah. Again, let's just double check that rotate alone's working. Yep, we're good. It's displaying. Nice. Okay, so we've still got extrude problems, and that is just okay. That's gonna, I don't need that. I need to check this. Okay, so A has this rotate and then this extrude. So the problem is arising very obviously with the extrude implementation. Let's have a little peek and see what's going on. Because that is the key. Here, let's have a peek at this, shall we? I think I shall. Let's actually def B as just this inner part. B is this extrude, yeah. So if I do scad / write expression, and the expression I pass in is B, I need to give it the depth of 0. Good. Okay, so I can use that to test it, but it's not even working a little bit at the moment. So extrude, keys H, that's working. LM should be the circle, that should be working. So here, indent depth is going to be 0 when I pass it in like that. It's a list, linear extrude, height H should work. This here probably is what's going wrong, yeah? I think this is actually just going to be map instead of map cat. Let's see if that's correct. Still wrong, but it's error printing return value. Yeah, that's kind of fine. It's the same error, so we're not fixing it yet. Okay, this will be, I think, the last thing I fix up before I go for the day. It feels like it'll be a good place to kind of wind things down a bit, you know? I think that makes sense, yeah? Oh, I don't even need to map this. This has to be just like this. I think that'll fix it, because it's trying to map right expression over each individual part of the single element that's passed in. And the way I wrote extrude, let me double check that that's true. In the model, extrude takes one element. Yeah, actually that should work just fine, because if I run right expression on a list of elements, there is a catch. It does go into this situation here. So if I run right expression on a single element, but it turns out it's a list of elements, it'll dispatch with this check. It'll check if the first of the element is a keyword. If it is, then it just uses the keyword to dispatch. But if it is not, it will use the keyword list to dispatch, and then it will do this here and properly map cat the right expression that way. So that is where the list situation's handled. So it should totally work just fine, I think. Famous last words, right? But there we go. We've got something going on correctly there. Let's just kind of test my pet theory here. If I repeat B 3 times, it does indeed perform the extrude on each thing in like just sequentially, which is exactly what I'm hoping for. So that's really good. So using that, I actually should be able to do this now. So if I do A, whoop, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry everyone, I've done the wrong thing. Oh, how tragic. That's not what I meant to do at all. Let's pop it back there, pop this back here, and we're golden. Beautiful. Right, this and it doesn't appear to have... Maybe I got a bit ahead of myself here. Ooh, well, that's just not going to work. Let's get rid of the SVG because it's totally broken right now anyway. Extrude H, 500, circle R20. Something, oh, it's not working. Something's going wrong here. So I have to do scad/write A. Linear extrude height is this. Let's print line that. Oop. Okay, so I formatted things a little bit poorly here. There's a few things going wrong here. So first of all, I'm pretty sure this space is wrong. This is theoretically fine, except it's all wrong. Let's fix this up. Compile SCAD 3D, boosh. Let's actually, while I'm at it, let's just remember to change this to this situation. So at least we've got that going for us with the revolve. Okay, linear extrude. This should be in like that. Argument height 500. This is working properly here. And then this. Okay. So here, actually, we do have to do this. So this list has to be concatenated with this list, which has to be concatenated with this list. Right, so to do that, I have to just do now this concat this list with the list that results from write expr, and then close it off with the list to finish those things. And that is the rotate thing, but I should do the same here, which is what I was actually supposed to change. Concat this list, which ends here. Concatenate that with the right expression there, which then gets concatenated with one more list right here, and we're in the money, I hope. Let's load that up and give it a shot. Promising. There we go. Okay. Whew, that's really good. That's great. That is fantastic. And now we do, well, let's finish this off. Let's only make this 100. It's a little more palatable. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get rid of the rotate. We don't need it. Let's def B is the same model/circle 20. 1 second. I think I actually should check this. One second, almost done the stream for the day. Ba-da-ba. Whoa, this is cool. I have thoroughly distracted myself. All right. What was I doing? Oh yeah, B. I wanted test, not extrude, but revolve. So model / revolve. Let's revolve the full 360, baby. It didn't work. Or did it? No, it didn't. Let's do scad / right B. Rotate extrude, angle equals 90. It looks like looks like things should be fine, but they're not. Let's see what happens when I spit forge.scad. I think it should be erroring out, but I don't know why. So let's view, show the editor. What's the problem? I don't understand. Let's go here. Open SCAD. Is it because this circle's not translated? I don't think that's it. It doesn't seem to be it. First of all, actually. Yeah. Okay, that works. Okay, it is related to if I do this, so theoretically it's already working. I do just need to add a little thing here, model / translate. Let's do 40, like that. And if I show that, it should work. Yeah, there we go. donut. Okay, that is working. That's gonna be it for my stream for the day. This is good progress. It's cleaner. It's actually undoing a bit of what I tried to do this morning and yesterday. But that's a good thing because my thinking about it is just that little bit clearer. The next really big thing to do, I've got kind of using OpenSCAD as sort of a base case where I'm adding some features to the model that I want to make sure will work in OpenSCAD. Use it sort of as the baseline. Then I want to make that exact thing work with my SVG library, and in order to do that I need to work on the internal representation fig stuff here, forge internal geometry, so that I can make an SVG viewer for the baseline OpenSCAD feature set. Then I want to go to FreeCAD, make the base feature set work with FreeCAD exporting Python scripts. Then I want to look at the FreeCAD tools and start adding in the FreeCAD tools so that I have a more complete CAD tool set. That's kind of the work in progress idea. So the next big thing is this fig stuff and then SVG stuff. And using those things alone already should be pretty cool because I'll be able to have an OpenSCAD tool set that works completely Clojure script side and can be used kind of live with reagent stuff. So I can do a lot with that already, and then to build on that will just be exciting. So that's going to be it for me for the day. I'm going to keep working on this model stuff off stream and hopefully have more thoughts and stuff and progress as I go. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Nice quiet stream today. Really enjoying that, actually. Got a lot of work done. Talking out loud is helpful. But if you're tuned in after the fact or anything like that, help the channel out by doing a follow, a like, a subscription, a comment, sharing it with people who might be interested, tweeting it out. Anything like that is very helpful. But that's enough chit chat. I'm going to get going. I'll be back tomorrow.